Maybe you can kick off with kind of who you are and what Allentown means to you, maybe what portions of town you grew up in, or even how we know each other, where you went to school, et cetera, things like that.
So my name is Devina Cruz. I grew up for the most part on the east side, but fun fact, my first residence was Cumberland Gardens. So that was my first. We started working our way up, started from the bottom. So yeah, my first residence was Cumberland Gardens. Then I moved to the east side where I went to like Sheridan and Harrison Morton. Then I ended up going to the north side or the center city. So I've been kind of all over the place besides West End. Well, who needs West End when all my friends from high school were in the West End? You know what I mean? So I got that experience with you guys. In terms of my experience, I went to Allen. People may know me from being a dancer. That's probably the most thing I was known for. After I graduated, I was fortunate to go to Penn State, where I received my bachelor's of science in business management from the Smith College of Business. I was able to immediately get picked up from my company right outside of graduation. So I automatically went to Louisiana, lived there for a year. Then I moved to Philadelphia for 2.5 years. Now I'm in Jersey. So through my career, I've been blessed to have so many opportunities and see a lot of different parts of the United States. So, and in terms of my job, what I do is I'm a director of facilities for a school district in New Jersey. And currently I'm just consumed with snow. So that's the main part of what I've been doing and a little bit more about me.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about how you felt your preparation was going from William Allen into Penn State, coming from Allentown School District into, a completely different environment of Penn State. And maybe you could just talk on some of those notes.
I would love to say William Allen prepared me, but it definitely did not. I graduated with 3.8. You couldn't tell me I wasn't smart. And then I go to Penn State and, I want to party like everyone is doing. And instead, here I am studying, getting a tutor. My first semester, oh my God, I can't believe I'm admitting this. I actually ended my first semester with a 2.69. And I was like, mortified. Like, I'm like, what is that? I really did truly struggle. And it was a lot more because my specific realm of studies was business. So it had to do a lot with math, but I wasn't the best at it already. So, I'm going into classes and I'm hearing about theta, beta, alpha, and I'm like, I've never heard of that. So
fraternity, what?
Yeah, until I wasn't a sorority. That's when I learned it perfectly, right? So, I definitely didn't feel like I was prepared, but luckily with most institutions, they do try to bridge that gap. And, I had to kind of humble myself and take some courses, what they call like remedial, but I ended up making it through. I made it into my major. So in terms of everything, I was able to catch back up, but it was a learning curve. And I can only imagine what it is. I mean, some of our peers went to Ivy Leagues and I would love to hear from them. Like, was it that easy or was it just me, but
Well, I do have a couple of them on my list here. So if hopefully I can wrangle them down and maybe you will hear some of those perspectives.
And tell them to be honest, for real.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's the purpose of this. Hopefully we are getting honest answers from everybody. Looking back, maybe what was missing or what do you think that could have been better to help you better prepare? And especially now working in schools, and I know you're not like a teacher or administrator necessarily, but you're seeing different ways that different districts operate. So
Absolutely.
Curious if you have any insight onto what improvements could be made, and I don't know if you know the current state of where the ASD is now, but just on your experience how that could evolve.
Yeah, so I definitely, from my observation, I do work for a blue ribbon school district. So they take everything is about academia, which in contrast, my perception of Allen at the time was a lot focused on like sports and like activities. Like that's where we thrived, or at least I will say myself. And it's a strong curriculum. They have just instructional periods, just designated to having 2 periods a day to go over just content that was learned for any student that's available. I don't remember that. I know we had study hall, but that's not the same thing.
Skip study hall?
Yeah, definitely went to Dunkin' Donuts a couple of times. Exactly. So they have instructional periods, the resources as well. it honestly frustrates me a little bit because I have to also receive the packaging on it. They get computers and all different forms of resources all the time for just academics, right? That's their priority. And I just realized that, like, I can't even recall us having laptops in every classroom when we were in school. Like, that wasn't a thing. And I mean, maybe, it's a long time, but they have so many extra resources. And again, I also work for a very wealthy, strong PTO, very active district. So that's a whole nother demographic than Allentown. But it is interesting just to see how involved. And I think basically what kind of sums up what you're asking is, I think things to make Allentown School District better and just provide more opportunities for people that do want to achieve and do want to go elsewhere, which I'm sure everyone does, but we don't have the resources, is getting just the community more involved and active and actually providing resources, even fundraising, minor sales for different things, reaching out to districts like my own. I tell my district all the time, listen, you have about 20,000 old laptops that I know my old school district would love to get. Sell them to, you don't have to do it to Allentown because we're another state over, but have them reaching out and speaking to other districts that maybe Parkland, maybe I don't know, like East Stroudsburg, maybe more affluent areas, and getting not their crumbs, but getting items that they don't, that are outdated for them, but we don't even have, kind of putting themselves out there, I think would definitely help in terms of getting certain resources.
From your perspective, what's attractive about the city and the area of Allentown to you? I mean, you mentioned about possibly moving back. I think that was probably in a hypothetical sense, but what does in your mind even pique that interest of being attracted to the area here? And then on the other hand, what are some things or some aspects that you think could be more appealing? And that's for people that are maybe looking to come here, but also for people that are already here, the communities that we have and hold and probably maybe need to nurture a little bit more.
What is appealing to me, because I've been so many different places and I've lived in so many different places, is truthfully and wholeheartedly the diversity. We have a very diverse city. We've been around so many different people. The fact that, like, you can interview so many different people from different races, different creeds, different religions, sexual orientations, etc. We were just brought up in that, and it wasn't weird. That's just what we knew. And then you go out into the real world, like Penn State, and you're like, holy shit! Like, I've never met a Spanish person, like, you know what I mean, or and it sounds dumb, but it's truly the interaction, the ability to have so many different experiences socially. I think it has been able to help me succeed in my life because I know how to deal with so many different type of people. So I think that's definitely appealing, and that's something, like, when I have a family, I definitely want to have a diverse community. I don't want to just have a place where it's just a good education and this is safe. I want it to be somewhere where we feel like we fit in as well. And I feel like no matter what, no matter where I went, there's no other place like Allentown for me. Like, that is always going to be home. And that's because it always felt like that. In terms of things that I think would help improve, I just think better community outreach, and shout out to just like everything you do, and just as much as you've been active, like, I can see what you're trying to do, even though you probably see it like in a different way. Like, I see the vision and it's going to happen like one day. And I think because we are a big city, like, we're what, the fifth biggest city in Pennsylvania? Third? We should be more on the map. Like,
Yep.
We
Dick Will
definitely
was
should be.
saying the same thing
We
about
should
being
be.
more on the map.
I thought we were like fourth or fifth. I didn't even realize we were that big. So honestly, if you think about that, then you're probably even thinking like, where are the resources if we're one of the biggest cities? And I think we have the potential to do a lot of different things in terms of attracting companies and having better places come into this business and invest in people, just local people. We have so much to offer. We have so much people. They can use their platforms and their corporate social responsibility as a way to invest back into our community, whether it's in education or just anything in health and anything where like their company's mission stands for. And that could help in just one sector of Allentown, let alone if we have multiple people investing in different aspects of our community.
What would make you come back? In a hypothetical way, you brought up that thought. What is something that it would be like, just like, man, I don't know if you still have family here. Is there anything that, the city itself and the community here could do that whether it's you specifically or it's others like, our, young professional demographic that would be able to really pull back individuals and showing, hey, there's opportunity here. It's a great place to live, work, whatever it may be.
I think what would pull me back to Allentown would be if I felt that there was something I could do that would impact the community outside of my career. In particular, like I'm a facilities manager. You already have your facilities director of the Allentown School District, so that wouldn't be a thing for me. But I think just like I said, that would be a great joke with what I have with my boyfriend is like if people came back and they were just like, let's invest in this, let's go for a city councilman, let's do something and just see the change. And I would love to be a part of the change because I truly do love Allentown. And I do think, like I said, we have so much potential. And I think if I could see a better vision and know that, which it sucks because you should just try no matter what, right? But if I could see somewhere where like a vision where we were going as a town and I knew that there was opportunities and things that I could bring to the forefront, I definitely would be more active in Allentown. And, I don't even know, I don't live there. So it's kind of hard. I don't really know when your councilman stuff is going on. Maybe having more knowledge of Allentown and what's going on in the community. And then that would definitely, at least if I'm not going to live there, be a part of certain outreach programs, whatever that may be, or somewhere where I feel like I could help.
Is there anyone else you think that, we should talk to in a similar type of interview? And then any last thoughts that you may have?
I have one person in mind and I feel awful. I need to find her and give you her Facebook because I know you know her, but I know her name starts with a D. She went to Penn State. She did a lot of amazing things. Her name is like kind of like Diana. I have to look her up. She's done a lot of great things outside. And I was talking like one of my old friends, Juan, and he was telling me about her. And I was like, when I was going through your questions, I was like, oh, that would be a perfect person I think would give a really good perspective. And I think she's like in government or something. So I would definitely give you that on the side burner of that. Obviously, hit you up with other people that I can think of.
No worries. It doesn't. We have a rolling list, but I always want to make sure that we ask just in case someone comes to mind. And yeah, if I think of someone and want to make an intro for me on the side, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll send you something when I can find her, but I'll find her. And then in terms of ending comments, well, first off, I appreciate you thinking my story or anything of my perspective with my non-Allentown ways since the last 10 years. I appreciate it. As always, I tell you this all the time. I'm proud of all the work you've done, all the things you continue to do. If I would have known freshman year in health class, this is who you would have been. It blew my mind. I'm so proud of everything you do. And I'm excited to see your continuous impact in the community. And, and I'm going to be around. And whenever you want another councilwoman on the side or something like that, what is it? Chief of staff, let me know. I'll at your girl.
I could see that. I could see you running that well.